Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Welcome into a super late here live update on what's going on. So right now, I just want to touch on the Suez Canal issue because stock market futures have been pretty down. We've got the volatility index right now at plus 3.2%, which is pretty high. We've got small cap futures at down 1%, and the Dow down a third, S&P 500 and NASDAQ both down about 0.5 to 0.75%. And a lot of this has to do with this Suez Canal blockage, which, I know, look, last week we were talking about, or at least feeling that, hey, look, this is just Fugazi. We don't have to worry about this. Well, we kind of do. And that's mostly because of the market's concerns over inflation, right? Fortunately, and we did have talk this weekend, I think this morning. I can't remember when I posted the video. I posted a video this morning with an update that as long as this ship gets freed by Monday, the impact that this ship's blockage of the Suez Canal has to global trade and global inflation, very important. That's the link here. The ship is like a literal delivery of inflation. It's like, here's inflation. You don't think there's inflation? Here it is. Blocked. Like, it's screaming inflation. And so the report this morning was, as long as the ship gets moved by Monday, the impact to the shipping industry and the consequences for inflation should be minimal. But if this goes on longer, bad news. Bad news. Okay, like the supply chains are already a disaster. So we do have some updates that just came in here. And there's been talk about this on Bloomberg television. CNBC has been touching on it. We're going to go ahead and pull up a couple things to look at here, though, and try to take a peek at what's going on. Because as of the last 30 minutes, this ship has been refloated. So we're not sure exactly if what we want to make sure now is that the ship can actually drive, right? And it's functional to get out of the position that it's in. That's obviously the big next move. And so apparently I can't get in the Wall Street Journal here. Hold on one sec. Let me pull it up over here. So, it's begun to move. This has actually just come in now. Looks like just now within the last minutes, because about 35 minutes ago, we've been talking about the ship being refloated, which basically means they dug out enough, they dredged out enough from the bow of the ship to get the ship to actually float again, which is so important because this could have gone real ugly. I mean, the ship being stuck on both ends, there's when the ship is stuck on both ends, you have a bunch of weight distributed across the ship. No problem if it's in the front and back, right? But the middle could crack, and you could end up having this thing literally blocking the Suez Canal for months, right? That would be horrible for markets and inflation, everything. But just within the last hour and a half here, we've heard that the ship has been refloated, but an update just came in, 30 seconds ago, breaking, reports that a vessel obstructing Suez Canal has begun to move. That's very, very good. So if it's officially been movable, then this is much more than just refloating. So CNBC ran a story. We'll pull this up here. CNBC ran this story here that the ship has been refloated. A cargo ship blocking the Suez Canal has been refloated, says Maritime Services. We've got here Evergreen, the giant container ship blocking the Suez Canal has been refloated and is being secured. And now the latest report is that beyond it being refloated, it has begun moving. Let's see if we can get their Twitter here. Okay, well, apparently I'm not signed on this one. We'll just keep this up here. This was an hour ago. I was successfully refloated an hour ago. So we'll keep this page open here as well. But now another report that it's moving again. Very, very good. We want this. We want this to move. And the hope is that if this gets freed overnight here in America, because it's already AM hours in Egypt, I think it's somewhere around 6:30 AM right now in Egypt. So we want to keep an eye on this. Let's listen to the update here from Bloomberg. Let's see if they're talking about it. Oh, nope, they're just kind of giving up. They're just giving us the music. Okay, perfect. So the only other one that I've been seeing cover this, let me see if they're talking about it here.
AstraZeneca vaccines.
No, they're talking about the vaccine. Okay, so Fox wasn't on either. So it's so late at night. But yeah, okay, this is just developing right now then regarding the Suez. And again, this was 2 minutes ago that it looks like it has started moving. Okay, here's a Bloomberg update, progress being made. We'll pull this up as well here. Let's get the Suez. Okay, I got to log in. So everyone wants you to re-sign in over and over again. Now I tell you what the bicycles are. Get out of here. This is crazy. You can't just blow the thing up. Then you'd end up damming the river, or the canal rather, much more. So what do we got here? What's the latest here? So this is let's see. Ship partially refloated after latest recovery attempt. Okay, let's see what they're saying. Salvage teams partially refloated the Evergreen in the Suez Canal almost a week after the giant vessel ran aground in one of the world's most important trade paths. Yeah, and so this happened on last Tuesday, so about 6 days. So this was the update, providing that and said the ship is being secured. 10 tugboats participate in the refloating operation. The breakthrough in the rescue attempt came after diggers removed 27,000 cubic feet of sand going deep into the banks of the canal. So there were so many viral memes about this boat, basically, or the ships, shouldn't be calling it a boat, the ship getting dug out with just like one little tractor on the side. Like, that doesn't matter. What matters is underneath, right? And this thing goes quite, I want to say it was like 4 to 6 stories down beneath. It's insane how deep this thing goes. But yeah, people, oh, here we go. Now they're talking about it on Bloomberg. Let's listen in here.
Oil comes under pressure as a result.
Global traders brace for what's shaping up to be one of the most anticipated opens of the U.S. equities in months, after an extraordinary wave of block trades on Friday, rattling investors worldwide.
Abu Dhabi has begun.
Oh, Hans, that's awesome. Yeah, I would love to see that. Oh, I don't know why it's not letting me show your comment.
And China is partnering with the United
I'll pull that up. Hold on. So you sent me. Let me see that. Yeah, I'd love it if I had an Egyptian TV out here right now. That's amazing. Okay, let me see what you got. So I'd love to see that picture. All right, let's see what they're saying here in the meantime.
From our Singapore studio, Jules.
Yeah, what a Monday, guys. We are seeing Asian stocks actually tracking higher. So for the most part, shrugging off the concern over the block trade. And we've also been following the news from Inchcape that the ship has been set free, and seeing a little bit of upside in some of the shipping stocks in the region. As you can see, it is mostly material and energy players driving the gains coming through across the region today. We've been seeing the likes of the Nikkei rallying more than 1%. We've also been seeing the Shanghai Comp in Hong Kong rising thanks to a profit rebounding, boosting some of those banking shares. You can see financials are among some of the winners, although only up by about 0.1% there as a sector. Let's check in, though, in Nomura, because in Tokyo it has been falling the most since listing in...
okay, here's what they're reporting in Egypt. Shout out, Hans. Thank you so much, first of all, for that $10 donation. Hans Media, thank you for that. Big shout out here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on screen here. Let me hop over for a sec. Okay, so good share here. Let's see. Let's get the HDMI. Oh, come on. All right, give me a sec. I'd love to pull this up. Come on, technology. See, it's late at night, and technology's like, no, Kevin, no, I don't want to participate this late at night. What are you doing to us? Oh, I need you. So start functioning. Anyway, you could see a feed of the thing. Oh, maybe can I airdrop it? No, it's not gonna work. I am shocked. I cannot get our HDMI connection up right now. Unfortunately, I can't get a picture of this up right now, as much as I would love to. But thank you, Hans. You sent a picture of the boat floating, and your update here from the Egyptian media is that the ship within the next couple hours might be floated to safety, to a safe area. So that's phenomenal. That really means by the morning out here in America, we should have this ship completely freed, which is phenomenal because it's just a disaster. I'm disappointed. It's the Apple connectors, I swear. It's these Apple things suck. I want to be able to show it. See the tugboats. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, so you could see the ship floating again, which is great. That's really, really good. And I think that the sad thing is it's the dongles, I know, right? The sad thing is you can't get you can't understate how important it is to have this trading path open, especially in a time when there's so many inflation concerns and inflation fears. This is very critical for the market.
Khalid Salmin.
I believe that the demand for Marban has always been there.
Okay, I was talking about the ship here. So let's see if we can get any kind of other updates here. Let's see if the shipping company has given us any kind of update. No, that was just an hour ago. We got an update here. And Bloomberg is not touching on updates right now. Okay. Any other updates over here? Cargo ship refloated. That's the latest that that's floating again. And it's so important. All right, here, we'll look on Twitter together really quick. See what else we have. Well, we had the Bloomberg here. Let's listen to or peek into this, and we'll circle back. It's so annoying. It's HDMI junk. All right, so what do we got over here? Refloated maritime services provider said the ship is being secured. 10 tugboats participated in the refloating operation. The breakthrough in the rescue attempt came after diggers removed 27,000 cubic feet of sand. While the ship is at least partially floating again, it wasn't immediately clear how soon the waterway would open up to traffic. So thank you for that update from the Egyptian TV that perhaps within the next 2 hours, it could be moved to safety. So thank you for that. Let's see here. Oh, thank you for the commentary here. Okay, let's see here. 450 ship logjam awaiting and en route to the Suez have been identified as their next destination. The backlog is one more strain for global supply strains that are chains already stretched by the pandemic, as the canal is a conduit for 12% of global trade. See, and that almost understates how big this really is. Oh, here we go. Let's get a little bit more of an update here.
From Cairo with more details. What have you been hearing, Ben?
Well, what we're seeing, for instance, on maritime tracking sites is that the Ever Given does seem to have shifted somewhat. And we know that overnight, 10 tugboats, including 2 very heavy ones that arrived yesterday afternoon, have been trying to nudge this ship free. Of course, let's not forget, this is a gargantuan task. You're talking about 18,300 containers on board that ship. But the Egyptian authorities at the Suez Canal have been working around the clock, dredging around the ship. The other day, we did understand that they were temporarily able to free the propeller and the rudder as well. So it does appear that there has been progress overnight. We're still waiting for precise details. But as I said, it does appear that the ship has been moved somewhat. It's not clear at this point, however, how soon the canal itself will reopen. Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I keep coming back to how big this thing is. It's as tall as a 14-story building, bigger than an aircraft carrier, and it is blocking one of the most important shipping routes in the world. Do you think, Ben, that, at the end of this, in the post-mortem, they're going to be talking a little bit about, how the heck this can happen, and whether, either these gargantuan ships don't belong there in the Suez Canal, or whether something's got to change?
Well, we heard Osama Rabia, who's the chairman of the Suez Canal Authority, saying that in terms of their investigation into what happened, that yes, there were 40-knot winds on Tuesday morning. There was a sandstorm, but they seem to be tending in the direction of the possibility of human error. Now, when a ship enters the Suez Canal, Egyptian pilots get on and guide it, but the captain of the ship has ultimate authority over the actions taken in the pilot room. What is clear is that these ships are a challenge when going through the Suez Canal. Keep in mind, Michael, that since 1956, the width of the canal in that area has been doubled, and it's still tight for a ship the size of the Ever Given. Now, between 2014 and 2015, Egypt did this massive project under the direction of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to create 2 lanes in the Suez Canal. But they didn't do it in this area, which is closer to the mouth of the canal in the Red Sea. They didn't do it because it was a gargantuan effort in the first place, very expensive, but perhaps they might reconsider the possibility of expanding the Suez Canal in that area as well to avoid this sort of problem in the future. But what is clear is that something has to change in terms of just the size of these ships, how they get through the canal. And, I think there's going to be a lot of post-game thinking about how to change things in the future. Michael?
Yeah, and just real quick, I mean, what's the traffic jam like on either end? Still,
take a look at this picture on Twitter here really quick. Look at that. It actually looks floating here, right? This is really, really, really good news. This is the first time I've had a really clear picture of the ship here refloated. This is really, really good.
Held up. We are talking about consumer goods, fuel, livestock, basically everything under the sun. 30% of world container traffic passes through the Suez Canal. But already we know that there are real world effects as a result of this delay.
Here's another one.
For instance, yesterday announced that it would start rationing fuel because fuel shipments aren't reaching there. We know that shipping rates.
So, okay, we got CNN's talking there in the background, but here's just a video, another one here from Twitter showing tugboats right here, but the ship floating again. We saw a thumbs up here from the particular captain here. So this is sun rises. Look at this, 54 minutes ago. The sun rises over the Suez Canal with Evergreen no longer blocking the canal. This is excellent. This is really, really good news. I hope there's video of it getting freed, like seeing that bob.
Goes on, we will see a recovery. It is obviously a recovery that has been.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. Hold on one sec. Let's jump back over here for a moment. Okay, they're bailing. Fine. Let's go back and see if Bloomberg's talking about this. But this is great news. No, Bloomberg's not talking about this yet. So it's really just these brief videos that we could see on Twitter here. Let's jump into that. Let's pause Bloomberg here for one moment, and I'll pull this up with audio here. There we go. All right, let's see what we got here. Quiet. It's such a sigh of relief, I imagine, for so many people working on this. Jeez. There's still not enough room, though, to get another ship through here. So it's not like you can... all right, everybody start going. They got to tug this thing somewhere else now and watch it get stuck somewhere else. Oh, my gosh. Don't even say that, Kevin. Jeez, this thing's huge. I'm so happy to see this, though. So the freaking thing's floating. Oh, that was loud. Let's see here. Yeah, more shots, more video of this. Good. Blocking the Suez appears to be... Yeah, that was much earlier. Yeah, and then of course we get all the memes. Wow, look at the boats waiting, the ship's waiting here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, everybody in the world now is going to know about the Suez Canal. You know what's crazy? Who here remembers during the $600 stimulus check time, we were, a lot of us were talking about, hey, why do we send money to Egypt? Why do we send money to Egypt's military? Just heads up, one of the reasons the U.S. does is to get free access to the Suez Canal. Like, it's really important. Like, I know the memes are horrible here. But yeah, I mean, that connection was I thought a little eye opening, at least to me. It's like, okay, that's how important these things are. Yes, you can track ships on the terminal. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is good. Okay, let's see if there are any other news stories on this, because right now I feel like we're getting into the meme section on Twitter, which, don't get me wrong, the memes are hilarious. But let's see. What do we got over here? What are they talking about? Nothing. Okay, here's a video from what Egyptian TV looks like. Let's take a peek at this. Should be interesting. Thanks, Hans, for this. Shout out. All right, let's see what this looks like. Okay, no sound on this. So this is kind of like what's running on Egyptian media, within the last hour here. That's great. I mean, that's a really good shot here. Good zoom in. You can clearly see the ship free. What looks to be like on both sides here. Oops. There we go. Let's see. I'm gonna take control of this here just for a moment. There we go. Yeah, I mean, when they zoom over here to the left, or pan rather to the left, you can see it looks pretty free over here. That's so good. I mean, it's certainly not horizontal anymore. It's not hamburger anyway anymore. This is so good. This is good. Very, very happy about that. Okay, good. That's huge. Let's see how futures are doing right now. Okay, Associated Press just now reporting ship partially refloated, but still stuck. Let's check out their article here really quick. There we go. Okay. It's loading in. We'll get that to load in here really quick. At the same time, let me pull futures one more time. Futures still negative. Tech is at negative 0.7. Small cap down 1%, 0.5% for the S&P 500. And if you're in Tesla, usually Tesla does like 2x whatever the S&P does. So let's see here. Engineers partially refloated the colossal container ship. This is 4 minutes ago from the Associated Press. For nearly a week, it's been stuck, blah, blah, blah. However, it was clear that challenges remain as satellite data from marine traffic showed the ship in the same position, surrounded by a squadron of tugboats with its bulbous bow stuck in the... Okay, well, let's see. As satellite data showed... I don't know, that doesn't sound accurate because we totally saw the bow not stuck in the dirt anymore. A top pilot with Canal Authority, speaking on a condition of anonymity, confirmed that the ship had been partially refloated and said that workers are still struggling to dislodge the bow. Really? Okay, so maybe even though it looks like it's floating, it's still somewhat lodged in underneath. So it's not totally free. It seems to be mostly floating, but not totally free. Okay? Let's see. They're working on pulling maneuvers to refloat the vessel fully early Monday. So it's really like a partial refloat. I mean, it looked good, obviously, but hey, we don't know what's under the water. Overnight, several dredgers have been working on this. 27,000 cubic meters got it. Although the vessel is vulnerable to damage in its current position, the company that owns the Evergreen dismissed concerns on Monday, saying that the ship's engine was functional and that it could pursue its trip normally when freed. That's big. That's really, really good. Okay, good. So the ship will be able to function again as soon as it's officially completely free. Ship operators did not offer a timeline for the reopening. Of course not. The Canal authorities have desperately tried to free the vessel. All right, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, the rest is all just mostly recap here. Okay, so it sounds like even though it looks freed, it doesn't look horizontal as much anymore. Maybe it's like freed off the back. We know that over the weekend they freed the propeller, the motor's working, the ship's functioning, the ship's not sinking, right? That'd be even worse. So they freed the ship, but the bow is still stuck. So hopefully over the next 12 hours here ish, before I guess even 9 hours here before our market opens, hopefully the darn thing will be completely freed. Let's see. They will refuel it on site enough to make the nearest port, probably. Yeah, no kidding. Let's see here. We know. yeah. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, I see the comments about ARC-X. Yeah, ARC-X, I wanted to say they were set for the 29th or 30th for hitting the market. That's ARC Innovations Space Fund. So we'll see what Kathy Wood brings to market. But anywho, yeah, there are 9 boats next to it according to GPS data. Yeah, we saw that as well with let's see, that was Marine. Hold on, what's the website? We can go to that. It's the Associated Press is saying marinetraffic.com. Let's see what we see. marinetraffic.com. All right, let's pull it up. Let's play. Oh my gosh, this is fancy. This is very fancy. Okay, so yeah, okay, so okay, well, how do we know? Is this is the live map? I wonder, there's probably a way for us to put the ship's identifier in here and see what's going, like see where the darn thing is. I don't know. how to do that. Does anybody know how to do that? Just tell you. That'd be cool if we could do that. But yeah, gosh, let's. In the meantime, I don't have the ship's identifier, so I won't spend my time staring at the map here. Bloomberg not covering this anymore. CNN, okay, nobody's really covering this right now anymore. So it looks like the update is that partially floated, still trying to get the front unstuck. Let's see here. This is not what it looked like in the video that we saw, at least. Let's see here. What's Bloomberg got to say?
First of all, this vaccine is already proven to be incredibly safe.
Let's pull that. Let's see what they got here.
Is it noteworthy enough to become the latest on the ground? We understand that the Ever Given has moved. By how much? And is it noteworthy enough to become more optimistic? The update. Good morning.
Good morning, Manus. So yes, there has been some progress, but it's not enough. The tide has not been in favor, and they do this attempt. They're working day and night to try and refloat, but the tide and the weather is not in our favor, unfortunately. The Suez Canal Authority Chairman Osama Rabia, in a press conference yesterday, said this, that we're facing a very difficult and a complicated situation, and he said, and that's really important. He said that he hoped it would not be necessary to resort to removing some of the 18,300 containers from the ship to lighten its load, but that strong tides and winds were complicating efforts to free it. Regarding the timeline,
these got to be older pictures.
The Suez Canal Authority said they cannot set a specific date, and it all depends on how responsive the ship is. And
right.
He said
right. Sam, if I can just flesh out a little bit the developments overnight, because again, you've been going back and forth from the Suez area in Cairo. So I want you to give our global audience just a little bit of a sense of what the press conference was like, what the government position was, and sort of what resources are being pooled in from the Suez Canal Authority.
So the press conference, it was the first, for the first time yesterday, the government sent a statement saying they're working on this and they're appreciating the international help. The press conference yesterday was also the first one. It was very interactive. The government was answering all the questions, and the government, the main mood was that the government is a bit optimistic. They see a little progress, but they understand that it's a very complicated process, and they're doing the best. They're taking all the international assistance they would take. They appreciate all the help, but they cannot give, and the fact that they cannot give a timeline says a lot. Also, the fact that the head of the Suez Canal Authority said that he hopes they would not have to resort to removing the containers to lighten the load, also says a lot. So, and yesterday the ship moved a bit, and that's a lot of progress. But still, we need the wind to be and the tide to be in our favor.
Okay, we're depending a great deal on nature here. Nature was perhaps, some say, the cause. We'll find out more. 29 meters is by how much we've moved. Salma, put some context around this. Yusuf and I have been throwing out lots of numbers. There's $1 billion worth of cargo on the Ever Given. But what's at risk here for the global economy? The size of trade that stalled and the cost.
So everything from the shipping lines, the vessel are stuck. They have everything from food to furniture and also livestock. We've heard several reports about livestock being in a very bad condition on board of some of the ships. The shipping costs are rising. The oil markets are being affected. So we hope that this this process get escalated, and we have some like real progress in the situation.
Oh, is it? All right, so it looks like my guess is that this
Goldman
video
had
here was
blacklisted
from,
Bill.
Oops, we'll pause that. This video here was from a little bit ago, but we did have the update here from Bloomberg as well, as the Associated Press and others, that the ship has been at least partially refloated. This is the position of it right now, which is really incredible because we can here. You know what? If you want to go to this as well, I'll make you a link really quick so you can go to this and then you could save this. Let's see here. Doesn't make a difference to me, but it's easier for you. Go to Met Kevin. Okay, so just one E. I know that's crazy, but metkevin.com/evergreen. And as long as you only put one E in, you'll be able to link over to exactly that. So go to metkevin.com/evergreen, one E. And if you do that, it should redirect you to the tracker, which we had up here. So the cool thing about the tracker is it's pretty dang instantaneous. And so what we can do now is we can really just watch this this move. Now, right now, it hasn't moved much because apparently the bow is still stuck. We've got, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. I can't really see here. No, 6. We've got 6 tugboats right now updating their positions around this. But apparently the bow is still at least underwater in the dirt. Let's see here if we can get an Evergreen, or yeah, it's the Evergreen, Evergiven, sorry, by the company Evergreen. It's such a disaster. Okay, Suez bow. Let's see if we can get a good picture of that bow. Images. No, you can't really see the underneath of it. Yeah, this is a good diagram here. And this is why even though they've rotated the back now, because in the last videos we've seen this thing almost straightened out, is what it feels like. But really what we don't see is this right here, this big round craziness. And even this right here, this is where they're still trying to dig. So it's good that, I mean, it probably means that they floated or dug enough underneath here to where maybe the tip is still stuck, but that the rest of the ship has moved. That chunk that they showed is amazing. So let's see here. Here's what is this?
Hey Kevin, how are you? I don't want to write this because it's too long.
Okay.
Actually, live now, the ship has moved officially. The engine is on. The whole fans and the engines is on. It's moved from that tiny narrow part that was stuck in. It's getting outside of the actual canal as we speak at the moment right now.
Ooh, good. Okay, awesome. So that's awesome. So I haven't seen it. We haven't seen it move enough yet on here, but it sounds like they've now started the engine on the thing to get the darn thing moving. That's very exciting. That means probably by, certainly if you're in the States, by the time we wake up for market open, this thing's going to be moving, which is wonderful. Now, certainly they're going to have to go up port this way. I mean, once they get the thing over here, though, or even honestly over here, somewhere over here, just once they get the thing out of the way, everything else can keep flowing, and that's the big thing. Can't go around it where it is right now, even though it's moved. It's so narrow here that the canal in this part was not built for bypass. Though you can bet after this, they're going to want to make this a two-lane canal. The rest of the canal is available for bypass, sort of two-lane traffic. But yeah, unfortunately, can't go around the thing right now. So we'll see what happens. But that's really good. That's a good update here. So we'll have to we'll pay attention to this. Again, you can go to metkevin.com/ what did I say? Did I say Evergreen or Ever? No, I'm pretty sure I said Evergreen because it's the company, even though it's the Evergiven. Whatever. Just type in Evergreen. The side of the ship says Evergreen. metkevin.com/ Evergreen. Does that work? Yeah, there you go. So that's what you do with one E. Okay, did it move? I see it's just I cannot wait to see this move because we have enough fears of inflation right now in the market. Enough. The last thing we need is more crap about inflation. That's seriously the last thing that we need. And that's literally what this ship is. It is the physical embodiment of inflation. And I made a video earlier about how it used to be don't fight the Fed. Now it's literally fight the Fed. Like, oh, we don't trust the Fed anymore. Really? See Discord General. Oh, thank you. I will check right now. I would love to see some more screenshots. Thank you for mentioning that here. Discord General. General members or General? Let's see here. Oh, whoa. Okay. These are some interesting pictures. Oh, these are very interesting pictures. Thank you. I'll share these here. So what do we got? Holy traffic jam. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so take a look at this one. So this kind of gives us another shot here of where we could see the whole thing is not horizontal anymore. And this is what we saw in previous clips as well. My guess is the thing was horizontal-ish like this. My guess, right? It's just some dude on YouTube. So it was horizontal like this, stuck over here. This is like mirror imaged, it feels like, but whatever, you'll figure it out. And then that maybe, even though it's been partially dredged here or freed here, maybe they're able to back it up or whatever. And rather than moving the front, just sort of get the back to move a little bit. And that's why we're getting this look right here. Let's see. Now we're getting another feed coming in here.
The bow and the stern in different directions in an attempt to dislodge it from where it has been stuck for 7 days now. Now, it does appear the stern is dislodged from the bank, as you can see in this video, but not clear at the moment if the bow has been freed. This latest effort being executed during high tide, which could present the best opportunity to get the ship moving again. Ben Wiedemann joins me now live from Cairo with more details. So what are you hearing on efforts to get this sorted? Tell us more about this video and what we're seeing in it.
Well, what you're seeing in this video is the ship early morning in the canal, and it does seem to have moved. Keep in mind, I mean, when you look at that video, you can clearly tell that it is no longer completely sort of straddling the Suez Canal. It seems to have moved. Now, in the video in Arabic, you can hear somebody who's clearly not getting a lot of sleep and smoking too many cigarettes that it has moved. It has moved. And all indications are also from maritime tracking websites that the ship, the Ever Given, has moved. Now, how much has it moved is not altogether clear. How soon will a navigation be able to proceed? Well, that's probably going to be many hours from now. But this is, without a doubt, the most significant movement of this ship. That's
really good. Just so you know, here, the white portion that you see on the left of the screen here, that's the channel where boats can drive through, even though water is in the blue. So from the left of the white to the right of the blue there, the part that you would actually, that it's deep enough for you to drive through is actually here on that white side. That explains why that bow is still stuck. So even though you see it in water, it's still stuck.
Media is,
it's not deep enough.
Given that this is for Egypt, good news, if of course, Michael, that's true.
They probably saw your name on the caller ID, Ben. Actually, I was going to ask you exactly that question. Just how important is the Suez Canal to Egypt? Obviously, this has cost them money and perhaps some prestige.
Well, in 2020, the Suez Canal brought in $5.6 billion for Egypt, which is not even 2% of its GDP. But symbolically, it is hugely important.
Hey, check this out. This is really, really cool. Huge shout out, by the way, to Tyrell Wellick for sharing this time lapse. Check out this time lapse. This is amazing. Thanks for the Discord post. Join the Discord at metkevin.com/Discord. 1E. metkevin.com/Discord. But watch me play this time lapse. Okay, I'm gonna hit play. Watch the ship. Watch the bottom left there. See, this is what I was trying to demonstrate with the remote control there. See, the front's still stuck, But look at that. Yeah, that's exactly what we were seeing. Whoa. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's a big move. Whoa. That's cool. That was a really cool clip here. You can really see the I mean, it's almost like the channel is free for other ships to come by, but not quite fully yet. I mean, that is a big move, though. You just think like, hey, get the tugboats on the other side, trying to push it. But yeah, wow, that is that's a big one there. Woo! Let's see what else is being said here.
7.
Yeah, adds up, that's for sure. Ben Wiedemann, morning there in Cairo. Appreciate it. Hope the day pans out well. Speaking of the day, let's go to meteorologist Padram Javaheri to tell us, I mean, is the weather cooperating with all of this?
The weather's cooperating. There are some gusty winds, certainly a far cry from where things were.
All right, well, let's see. Here's another comparison here. Take a look at this. So this shows you on the left here from the, I believe that's the 23rd when it first got stuck to now, which is good. It's big rotation there. Is this regarding the Suez?
That are going to take place within the next several days. Over the last 30 days or so, this is the highest it's going to get. Of course, we know the sun, the moon coming in perfect alignment. The gravitational impacts of the moon here kind of pulling the water back and then bringing it up much higher as well at certain times of the day. And I'm going to break down exactly when this is going to happen within the next few hours. And of course, you see the massive scale of the ship. We know dredgers have been able to free up at least about 30,000 cubic meters of sand in the past several days. So the propeller wasn't moving. They begin to see that get into motion. Now, the waters, as they rise within the next 3 to 4 hours, officials hoping this is our best window to make this happen. And we think that'll happen sometime around 11:42 a.m. That's when the highest high tide
is about 5 hours.
About 6 hours later, water levels there drop on the order of about 2.1 meters down to less than a half a meter. So it's going to be a significant drop, Michael. And then we think within the next 24 hours, we get another shot of this going into the early morning hours of Tuesday and once again into the early morning hours of Wednesday. So the next couple of days, beginning this afternoon, going to be really the best window we'll have to make this happen.
Wow.
Yeah, no pressure. Padram Javaheri.
So 11:30 Egyptian time. So let's see, time in Egypt. Oh, a quick little Google here. It's 7 there right now. So they're thinking 11:30. Yeah, that's actually 4.5 hours. So in 4.5 hours, they'll be at high tide. That's great.
Has been floated, but there does seem to be work to be done at the bow. What is your read and what have you been hearing?
Well, this is excellent news. It sounds like the high tide helped quite a bit with this full moon, and the addition of extra tugboats that have come alongside and helped pull her stern away, which gives the vessel the use of her engine so long as the rudder and the propeller aren't damaged. They'll be able to use the engine of the ship, which is going to also help them to what we call back and fill a little bit with the ship, that they may be able to come astern a little bit using the engine to get her out of the sand up on the bow and get her straightened out into the canal. So this is definitely a bright moment now for getting this ship underway again and possibly making sure she can finish the rest of her voyage. But I'm sure they'll have to do a full hull survey of her.
I was actually literally about to ask you that as my next question. What about the risk of the ship itself having been damaged by how it's been sitting, hung up on either end and the stresses that might place on the integrity of it? What would need to be done to make sure she's seaworthy?
Well, they'll probably do an underwater survey, get some dive.
The ship's carrying like everything. Like, I mean, there are animals on it, there are chips on it. I'm pretty sure there are cars on it. I mean, you name it. This thing has everything on it.
They've also got to be concerned of all the intake with the water that was coming into the engine to make sure that they haven't sucked in any sand or any kind of debris that will clog the filters that could cause the engine to shut down at any time and cause significant damage to the vessel again, rendering her unseaworthy. So they're going to be doing a lot of different surveys. She'll probably go out into a deep water anchorage and sit there. They'll have to go through the steering gear system since the rudder was harder ground with the propeller. There's going to be a lot of different things they're going to have to check. The propeller could be damaged to where you're going to have a good amount of vibration in the vessel now, which is not good for a ship. So they will be doing quite a few surveys on the vessel now before she gets underway for her voyage. And But the good thing is that it sounds like the canal will be open here very shortly, and they'll be able to get traffic moving in both directions again.
Yeah. Do you think at the end of the day, when they look back on what's going on, obviously there's going to be an after-incident report or two. Do you think they might be looking at whether, these massive ships have a place in the canal, or how things are operated there to stop this? I mean, to have something as important as the canal shut down by, 40-knot winds and a sandstorm seems crazy. I mean, what's your read?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to have to look at procedural changes as how they do take these vessels through. For instance, here in the United States, up in Valdez, they use escort tugs to maneuver these big VLCCs around, just in case they do have a situation where they have a loss of power or a loss of steerage, that these escort tugs can put the vessel somewhere safely and take her to an anchor spot. So they'll have to look at that to see if they need to maybe put 2 escort tugs with all these large vessels going through to make sure this doesn't happen again. Not only do we see that the commerce of the world is shut down, but also the naval viability of the canal being shut down, where naval forces can't get through either. So this caused a concern on many different avenues of different countries looking at it for different situations, not only financial, but also tactically, the importance of the canal, of getting navies from one ocean to another.
That's a very, very good point. Great that we were able to tap your expertise as this unfolds. Captain Jim Staples, good to see you. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to Anna Stewart, who's been tracking the economic impact of this mess. She joins me now from London, and good morning again to you, Anna. Obviously, a lot of concerns. I mean, from manufacturers to consumers, everyone in between who've been impacted by this. Give us a sense of how the supply chain was affected.
Well, it's really extraordinary. If you clog up one of the world's biggest arteries of trade, the ripple effect is really quite huge. So you look at the direct impact for the shipping companies, for the Egyptian economy, for instance, and all the goods, of course, are stuck currently on either side of the canal, over 300 ships. But you also look at the wider impact for the market, and it does trickle all the way through the supply chain, from the producer of the raw material right through to the end products. Of course, we talk a lot about oil and gas when we talk about the Suez Canal and that region. That's really critical. And of course, there are big concerns about fuel shortages. There's also concerns about coffee shortages. For instance, for Europe, most of the coffee that comes from Africa.
Wow. Just a quick interjection here while she's chatting here. So futures have actually worsened since this movement here, which is kind of disappointing. We now have the volatility index. Last we checked in was at 3.2%. It is currently at 4.13%. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. The U.S. tech, so NASDAQ down 1%, S&P down 0.75% now, and Dow is down 0.5%. Dow was down 1/3 before, and NASDAQ was down 0.75. So we've got a worsening in futures at the moment. Not so good. This is despite the ship somewhat getting freed here. Let's see. Let me pull up the ship again here. Yeah, I think the big deal though here is going to be, it's going to take a bit until approximately 11:30 when we see that high tide come in to maybe have that hopeful push where this thing gets pushed out under that high tide. Gosh, and then I believe they said they'd have another shot about 6 hours later if they can't free it at that moment. So go back to her for a moment.
Will be higher for the consumer. Now, currently, that's something you see playing out on the markets. Whether that becomes a reality when you get to the till, I think it's probably unlikely in the coming days. Though, bigger problem perhaps is the global trade situation that was already in crisis, frankly, before this happened in the Suez Canal because of the pandemic. There's just been such a huge volume of online shopping, of people staying at home, and that has caused big pressure on supply chains, on shipping particularly, all around the world. So we were already looking at issues of not enough containers to ship toilet roll from Latin America to Europe. And of course, this has just exacerbated that situation. So what we could see is a shortage of some products or big delays when you put in an order and it doesn't arrive for weeks. Michael?
Yeah. And as you mentioned last hour, and I'm loath to even mention it, not toilet roll again, but we could.
Not again.
It's possible. Anna Stewart in London. Great information. Thanks, Anna. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And just to recap there, what we have been hearing from the Suez Canal, and we've got video too, and you can see there that the stern of the ship, the back of the ship, has apparently been pulled free from the bank.
Yeah, we've seen this sort of transition as well here on, I mean, a huge shout out again to the folks here on the public Discord posting these shots. But the most fascinating one to me here was really just seeing this time lapse here of the ship actually getting moved. So huge that we have this movement here. Now the hope is that with a high tide coming, we'll be able to sort of lift the ship in the high tide. It'll be fully freed. The engines are on and working, and that this thing can get moving, and then this will just be a blip in our memory. But I can't not stress enough how this right here is the physical embodiment of inflation, which is kind of weird to see or to think about it though. All right, just music on the Bloomberg here. So, yeah, I'd say at this point, probably not going to see many updates for the next few hours as we wait to see what happens as we get sea levels rise there by the canal. What you can do, though, to track this is go to metkevin.com/evergreen. Just put one E in, metkevin.com/evergreen, and then you'll be able to track this as well. You'll get this tracker map here. It's not an affiliate link or anything. I do have affiliate links, like getting 2 free stocks with Webull when you deposit $100 with Webull. Link down below, metkevin.com/Webull. But no, I mean, really here, this will let you track this. And honestly, I think instead of waking up and seeing what stocks are doing, I just want to see what this thing is doing. So we'll keep an eye on this. You could kind of take, the other thing you could do is you could take screenshots over time. But I have to say, oh, that's another really good good image here. Good share here on Discord. Thank you for that. What is this here? Positions are approximate based on Vector's services of plenty. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Thank you for that. So, but anywho, yeah, I'll definitely be tracking this. At the same time, I have to say, right now, futures are, I mean, they're falling. The volatility index just in the last even 2 minutes here has gotten even more severe. We're now at 4.65% on the VIX. We've got small cap 2000 sitting down about 1.5%. NASDAQ down 1% for the NASDAQ, folks. Usually a 1% decline for the NASDAQ could mean somewhere around a 2 to 3% decline there for Tesla. Just as an example. Let's see here. Somebody had NeuroRx COVID drug met primary endpoint. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll look at that in just a moment. But yeah, here Dow's now over 0.5% down in the futures, and the S&P 500 is down about 0.78%. So it's gonna be interesting today. It's gonna be very interesting the next 24 hours here to see not only the ship get freed, but then hopefully we start getting into this April period of calm again, where we get away from the madness of the market that we've had just this last month. Because really the last more than a month now, month and about 10 days has just been a disaster. So anyway, we'll see it for the market open about 8-ish hours, something like that. Maybe I'll get some sleep. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, folks. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.